What's up, YouTube? Mr. Llama here, and today we're going to be talking about the METEORB Sorceress. This is going to be a sorceress that combines Meteor and Frozen Orb. You could also combine Fireball and Frozen Orb. It's kind of just showing the cold fire dual spec that you can run here. The main pieces of this will be the gear, the stats, all of the Mercenary, and all of that stuff. I'm going to try and get all of it in here for you so you know exactly how to build your character. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and start out by taking a look at the sorceress. You can see right here her starting stats, her life and mana gain per stat and character level, and you can see that her life gain is a little bit low, so it definitely makes her more fragile. Down the bottom right, you have her frames. This is very important to know. I'll have a link in the description for frames and breakpoints and how all of that stuff works. But when you're building your character, you want to see where the breakpoints are and you want to build towards one of those. So if you don't know about that, go check that out. Now, for the build here, this is kind of a standard build of how I would make this character. This is going to be taking advantage of Frozen Orb with 16 points in Cold Mastery. You don't need to fully max it. It's going to be more valuable to put the points over here because eventually the minus to cold resist, enemy cold resist for PVM just kind of, you're already maxing out how much you can minus them. So with plus skills, you should be totally fine with 16 or even a few less points. Otherwise, though, you're going to be maxing out Meteor, Fireball, and Fire Mastery. This is going to be increasing your Meteor damage and then increasing your Fireball damage as well decently. If you would rather run Fireball, though, I would recommend you to instead only put 1 point here and max out Fireball or Firebolt. This is because Fireball is going to receive more damage from Firebolt than Fire Mastery, but you're going to get more damage to your Meteor if you max out Fire Mastery. Just something to note when looking at those synergies. Otherwise, just your standard stuff, 1 point Frozen Armor, 1 point Teleport, 1 point Warmth, all of that stuff right there. Pretty standard build. In terms of how do we get there for the leveling, you can go Den of Evil point right there, level 2, 3, 4, 5. At level 6, you can put a point into Static or Frost Nova if you want that, but I don't think you super need it there. Then at level 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, go there. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and once again, Ijal points, Radamant points, all that stuff. And then you're just going to, keep going with your Fireball. You want to level up with your Fireball for sure, and then a point for Fire Mastery at level 30. Fireball is going to be better for leveling, and then around level 30, 1, 2, 3, somewhere in there is where I actually think going into Frozen Orb is better. So then you want to respec and you go your 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say you leveled at 33, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then from here you can take your other points and put them like this and start getting your meteors as well and some of your fire mastery points right there, right? So this is a great place where you can kind of level and have that. Now through Nightmare, I definitely recommend focusing more just on increasing your Frozen Orb damage until you get your Frozen Orb all the way maxed out, and then adding in more of your Meteor and Fire damage as you go through the game and start getting to Hell, so you can have kind of that more balance, right? You won't run into that many immunities in Nightmare. That's going to be a big issue, maybe just a little bit, but you're going to want to definitely have more stuff placed into your points over in the cold tree over here, right? And then of course having your points there 1, 1, 1 are going to be extremely useful. So anyways, this is how I would max out this character. You could also try to put the points into Ice Bolt for the 2% cold damage per level if you wanted to once again focus even more on the cold damage, but I prefer kind of boosting my fire synergies overall with that. In terms of stats, I'm doing enough strength for gear, no dexterity, everything else vitality, or enough dexterity for gear if I do need any, but I probably shouldn't, and nothing into energy. But when I am leveling, you might put a few points into energy, get it up to 35, 45, 50, whatever it is, maybe 19 more points on top of that, who knows. But just kind of, you can put some points into energy right there just to have a little bit of added mana, which will help you out while you're playing through the game. and be extremely nice for you. But when you do eventually get there, you're going to want to respec out of all that in your final respec and not have any points energy. And like I said, just enough for strength, for gear, just enough for gear, and rest in vitality. In terms of the gear that I will be using, for just a straight damage build, I like this. I like Hodo, Shaco, Mara's, COH, Spirit, Trex, BK, Arachnid Mesh, Stone of Jordan, and Mage Fist. This is going to get me to my 105 breakpoint and additionally just be really high damage, maxed out resistances, and just be very solid overall. I guess we're in Nightmare, but it should still be close to max. On top of, I like having cold skillers over fire skillers, but you could technically do cold or fire skillers there. Torch, Annie, and then whatever sort of life res charms that you can get, all of that stuff, right? Yeah, Frozen Orb, sorry. But yeah, this is overall just like a pretty standard good gear setup right here, where you're really just maxing those skills out. You can see I've got plus 19 to my skills right now, and that's just really helping out this character because once again I'm trying to spec both cold and fire, so the more I can get that, the better it'll be. If there's some stuff where I want to go into like magic find with this build, I can throw the 3-piece towels on. This is a fantastic little triple piece that you can put on that will boost, you can see FCR, but you also get 112% chance for magic find right there. With that topaz, you get the magic find from your belt as well. Very nice little combination. You can swap on some war travs if you would like. You could put some chancies, though I'd prefer Mage Fist, but you can still put the chancies. You can put the gold wrap, you can put the Nagel rings, kind of whatever you want. Keep that 105 faster cast rate breakpoint, but other than that, you can really play around and kind of swap some of those basic magic find gear pieces on. Otherwise, while you're leveling up, Leaf is a fantastic staff to grab. Plus 3 to fire skills, going to be super helpful. Razor Switch is actually a really nice staff as well. Big res, so it kind of makes up for no shield. You get skills, FCR, life, mana, all that. But I don't think anything's really going to beat out just having a Spirit. This is just such a great early game weapon. So super nice. Additionally, Spectral Shard is really good. Suicide Branch is great. There's really just a lot of these like casting, stabs and wands and blades and whatever things that are just going to be super good for this character. So definitely great there. Also something even like an Oculus, if you can go ahead and get that. Obviously a Death Fathom would also be not bad on this character, but Oculus could be really nice for a character as well. Early on, I think Stealth is super fantastic. Get the FCR, FHR, FRW really helps out a lot. Additionally, you could grab a Viper Magi. You could grab a Q Hagen's. These are both these all three are gonna get you those FCR for the frames that you want, which is gonna be super helpful. And then Smoke can be super nice with just big resistances, right? Even something simple like that. Or hey, even this, just good resistances, plus to life, plus to strength. It's not terrible. In terms of rings and ammies and stuff, I mean, life and res is always good. Anything with plus to skills is really good. So IF Etlich, Seraph's Hymn, High Lords. Yeah, you're not using it for any of the other pieces, but it's got plus to skills and light res, and that's pretty nice. Telling of Beads, you get some res and skills. I mean, a lot of those things are super, super good. Ring-wise, if you can't get plus to skill rings, getting some nice FCR rings with resistances and life and strength and all of that is going to be super good for your character. So you'll want to focus on that sort of stuff. Belt-wise, Night Smoke would be pretty nice. Get a little damage taken goes to mana. Get the all-res, plus to mana, all of that. A giant plus to life belt, a belt with like big hit recovery and strength and life and all of this is good. You could put a gold wrap on for the magic find. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of nice pieces there. Shield wise, Act 5 Quest 2 completion gives you these 3 runes, makes an amazing shield, highly recommended. Rhyme is okay, you get some magic find from it, not as much resistance though, so I would highly recommend Ancient's Pledge, kind of my best in slot shield that you get really early on. Then maybe you get like a Moser's later for even more. Maybe you get yourself a Sanctuary and you want to run that. I mean, you can find some things along the way to beef up those res, which is super nice. Helmets, tier runes for mana per kill is great. big resistance helms just by putting runes in helmets. I think a lot of people overlook how effective you just like plain runes can be, not even in rune words. Lore helm is probably a really good best in slot, like nightmare early starter. Not best in slot, but for like a solo self-found that's easy to get. Skills, energy, lightning res, mana per kill, super great. Other plus to skills helms, Sazabis, Peasant Crown, Tarn Helm, whatever, right? All that stuff's good. But even something like a Rock Stopper, if you need some more survivability, primo. So good right there. In terms of gloves, Mage Fist, Trang's gloves are also great. The other FCR glove, if you can't get that, get some gloves with some life on them. Get some gloves with some hit recovery and life. These are both really good pairs right there. But then, just some rare gloves and stuff, big resistances, whatever, are always really nice. For boots, faster run walk, right? Get some faster run walk, resistances, and life. That's the 3 things you're really looking for, and some stats. SRs are great. Water walks are great. Infernos, you can shop some when you get a little bit higher level. Natalia's boots are really nice, dual res with that. Alder's boots are a highly used item because you don't get fire res from Spirit Shield. So, a lot of great options. Many of the belts boots that you find, if they have those stats, are going to be great. Additionally, for a helm, you can just stack like Row really early if you're running into fire issues in Act 3 and 4. Just a fun little note. So that kind of covers the gear for the character. For your Mercenary, Infinity's going to be pretty good, mostly for that fire damage, but it will help your cold damage out a little bit and makes it so you don't need as many points in cold mastery. Fortitude is nice, and Andes, this is kind of like the best stuff that I would put on this character. Alternatives can be Treachery Armor, just so good for the Mercenary still. Gets him the Fade, the Venom, the IAS. Shaft Stop is really nice. You could give him that Smoke like we talked about before for 50 all-res. And, Stone, and there's lots of things you can do. Helmets, Crown of Thieves is nice. Taurash's is nice. Get the Lifesteal and plus to life. That's really good. Vamp Gaze is nice. You get Lifesteal and damage reduce. And even something like this, just to like really smash them up with big resistances and cannot be frozen. Some hit recovery. It's going to be helpful. In terms of weapons, Obedience isn't bad. Reaper's Toll isn't bad. Bone Hew's okay. Insight would actually be probably preferred just to really help out with your mana and get them good damage. And Tomb Reaver is also very good. So a lot of different options for this character. But like I say, what I really love about this character is just, you run into something like, I guess they're all dead, but let me go to hell really fast. You run into something like Cold Immunes up there. Also, we have CTA and Spirit on swap, as always. And it's like, oh no, it's Cold Immunes, I can't kill them. But I can, actually, with my Meteors. So, cool. Makes it way easier, right? You can just drop your Meteors down, and then you get to mobs that you can kill with your cold damage. So you kill them with cold damage, and you can just hit way more mobs and deal with way more stuff by fighting this way with the dual spec. So a lot of people really like that because that's one of the problems with a lot of sorceresses is they're a single element, and when you run into immunities, you just have to skip them or wait for your mercenary to kill them, and you can't do anything. So anyways, that is my METEORB sorceress build. I hope that it was fun and educational for you, and you learned some stuff. Leave some comments down below. Love to hear what you guys have to think about it. If there's anything that you would do different, whatever it is. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Swipe right on my Tinder. Peace, YouTube.